Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nursing 301 Health Assessment. This is Professor Heidel, and I will be your instructor this semester. So even though you've had your SPS orientation, I just wanted to take you on a little more detailed orientation or guidance for our Blackboard site, which is going to be our classroom basically throughout the semester. So to start off, this is the announcement section, and this is where I will post announcement at least once a week, usually more than that. I do send out an email as well. So make sure that you log on and check your announcements section as well as your SPS email, fairly frequently throughout the weeks. Next is instructor information. And in this tab, you will basically just find out a little information about me, but most importantly, how to contact me through email. Also, when my office hours are, I do respond very quickly to emails, usually within 24 hours. So please feel free to email me anytime. Under course information, here we have a lot of information, and the first is basically the syllabi. And I have just downloaded a copy of this. I do suggest that if you're going to print out anything for this course, it would be the syllabi, because everything here is, basically compressed, all the course information, the requirements, etc. So you have the breakdown of, the weekly material, you have my contact information, you have the grading, and as you can see, when you get a little further down, you will see that here are the week by week expectations, assignments, etc., but just in a little more compressed format. So again, print that if you should print anything, it should be that. Next is the textbook. We will be using the same textbook as last semester, the Jarvis Physical Assessment and Health Assessment, the 6th edition. We were very happy with that last semester. The next two folders is the discussion board and other assignments, both guidelines and rubrics. If you can download those, that's great. They're also available on the individual assignments, but please review both the expectation or the guidelines and especially the rubrics before you submit any assignment, because this is what we strictly use when we are grading your assignments. So we will refer back to those. Next is the Shadow Health sign-up instructions, and it's basically step-by-step how to sign up within the first 2 weeks. The contact information if you have any issues, etc. Also the Shadow Health guidelines, what our assignments are going to be, etc. And then we have a contract from me with what I am expected to do in this course. So for example, how fast I should respond to emails within 24 to 48 hours, and that the assignments will be returned within 7 days, etc. Then we have a reference list, which is very extensive, and then a link to the Baruch-Newman library where you can find, obviously, all the resources. There's also a different tab. If you look up, you have a direct tab to the Baruch-Newman library. So again, very beneficial. Then the next tab is going to be the weekly materials. And here you will have a breakdown from week to week. Oops, where did that go? There we go. From week to week, what your assignments, expectations, and also the discussion board is going to be for that week. So if we, for example, look at week 1, you will see here an overview of what's expected. But if you click on the link, and anything that highlights obviously is a link here, for week 1, you will get a more specific breakdown. So here you see the learning outcomes, the objectives for that week. Then you have the lecture material, which is going to be, instead of me being in, physically in a classroom, I'm lecturing here via a document. There is an area for slides, videos, and multimedia. Sometimes we use all 3 in a week, and other times you won't see any, as for week 1, for example. There's also reading on web links that's available, and in the first week, for example, it's just your reading assignment, which is going to be the first chapter of your book. And also you have Erickson's psychosocial stages summary chart, which is a requirement for that week. Then you have an area for the discussion board, and it's kind of going to duplicate because you will see that on the discussion board as well, but this is the discussion question. So When you read this area, you will see that there is a specific question, sometimes one, sometimes two questions that you need to respond to on the discussion board. And I'll get more into the discussion board requirements when we get to that part of the Blackboard. So that's what a typical week looks like. And you will have, like I said, for week 1 through week 15, an overview of what the expectations are. Under assignments, you will see that you have specific information about the assignments for the entire course. First, you have an assignment guidance document. That is basically going to give you a more compressed explanation of all the assignments together. And that's also, a good document to download so you can have, an idea of how much work is going to be expected, from week to week so you can plan your semester appropriately. Also, you have an APA format guideline, and please take note of this because if you look on the grading rubric for the assignments, you will see that APA formatting, is a requirement, and points will be subtracted if you don't follow APA. So there's, this link to APA, and you also have it over here as a separate tab. So please, if you haven't used it in a while, or if you've never used it, certainly review that. Then you have a course grading breakdown, and as you can see, for example, being in the classroom, the discussion board is going to be our classroom, accounts for 30% of the final grade. So I'll again go more into detail when we get to the discussion board of how that's broken down. And then for week 2, you have an assignment, a nutritional assessment assignment. And again, if you go into the link, you will see the requirements for that. Here, I can show you actually. Just so you have an idea. Because also here, you will see that the rubric is available if you didn't download it. And then you have all the information about the assignments. And in addition to that, you will have an area where you're actually going to submit the assignment. So I can obviously review it and grade it, and it will be posted on the Blackboard grading area. Okay, so that's for every assignment, you will see one of these areas. Okay, participation. This is a very important area. This is your expectations in terms of your participation on the discussion board. And it's broken down here in a separate document in that link. So basically what you have to do is for the discussion question or questions of the week, you have to go on to the discussion board once before Thursday, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time during that week of the discussion question, and answer the question. It has to be a substantial answer. It should be 150 to 250 words. In addition to that, you have to respond to 2 of your classmates on 2 separate days. Also substantial response, but it should be at least 100 to 150 words. So in other words, every week you are going on a minimum of 3 times to the discussion board on 3 separate days. And the first one, like I said, has to be before that Thursday deadline. And the last one has to be before the Sunday 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time deadline. Now, that does not mean that you're limited to go on just 3 days or have 3 responses. You can respond as much as you like. And last semester, I had some students that went on, the minimum of 3 days, and others went on, up to 15 times. So we tend to get a very active discussion going. Again, read your also your grading rubric for the discussion board, and just let me know if you have any questions. Again, we have the APA guidelines in the Baruch-Newman library. I showed you those already. Now, the group area is, it's blank right now, but this is where you're going to be assigned into smaller groups because you're going to have a collaborative group assignment that is due, I believe, week 9. It is under your assignments, but You're going to develop a PowerPoint and you need to correspond with each other. So again, these groups will be set up in the next couple of weeks so you can get started on the assignment. Then you have an e-portfolio area where it basically gives you detailed information how to set up your e-portfolio because that is a requirement of the course, and you're going to have one specific assignment, and that's going to be a reflection from your New York Sim Lab experience. We're going to basically meet once during the semester at Bellevue Hospital to have simulation experience with live actors. It's a lot of fun. You're going to be videotaped. You're going to learn a lot from it and more information to come. But the reflection from that assignment is going to go up to on your e-portfolio site. So you need to develop your e-portfolio at some point. If you come from another college where you had an e-portfolio, unfortunately you cannot use that. You will develop a new one for SPS, just so you're aware of that, because we have had questions about that before. Hopefully one day we will have a correlation. And then you just have an area for tools, different tools that might be useful for you throughout the semester. Um, and under the discussion board, also, sorry, I always save that for last because this is a little more detailed. So again, this is going to be our classroom. The first area of the discussion board is basically ask your instructor. Many of you will have similar questions about assignments, about the discussion board. So please go on here. We have usually a very active site, for questions in the first few weeks because, there are, issues that, we have to get familiar with. But the point here is that, if you have a question, you can count on that. Probably about half the class will have the same question. So that way we can learn from each other instead of, just individual emails. Getting acquainted is an area where we'll all get to know each other. So in the first week, you need to go on, tell us a little bit about yourself, and also very importantly, post a picture. That way, it won't be such a surprise when we meet each other for the Bellevue experience. And it makes it a little more alive. So yes, please do that. Then you have an area where you also have to go on and attest that you actually read the assignment guidance, and you will find that under course documents. So basically, once you have read it, it's under course information. Once you have read it, just go on here and say, I attest that I have read the assignment guidance, and just put your name to it. And then you're going to see week by week discussion questions or responses to discussion questions. The first week we have made it very detailed for you, so you have all the instructions again. But after that, you will just see basically, the area that you're going to do your initial discussion question response, and then the responses to your classmates. So that's why you also need to know the grading rubric and the requirements for the discussion board. So go back to that folder and read it. And that goes through week 15. Okay. So I think we're towards the end here. Yes. So other areas you have, the grades obviously that you can look up. How to send emails. And any assistant that you may need, the resources for that. So again, I am very much looking forward to working with all of you throughout the semester, and I hope this was a little helpful in terms of just breaking it down, a quick little overview. So we'll see each other in the next couple of days, and I wish you all the best of luck, and I can't wait to meet you both online and also in person. Okay, take care.